Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Zainab Vora and this is one of the most awaited videos on the features of the CoreBTR app. It's a video I've been very excited to make and honestly a little nervous as well because we've talked so much about the app and finally it is time to tell you what we have built for you, what is the thought process. So I'm going to do a detailed overview of how the app is going to look and how I would recommend all of the students to be using it. So let's see. So this is what the app would have. The main content are the videos, right? So we are going to have revision videos for all of the subjects. The total duration is 106 hours, including all of the subjects, and I'll give you a detailed overview of that as well. So 106 hours means it's something which is revisable over and over again, and that's the intent, to keep that sweet spot between neither very long nor too crisp, just facts. That's not going to be the intent at all. That's never been the intent with BTR. It's to make it concise, but not so concise that you don't get the gist of it. So you'll always start with some sort of a concept, and the main aim in how I teach is, if you know the why, you don't have to remember the what, right? So my aim is to tell you the whys or the concept of most things, such that you don't have to memorize, where there's no choice but to memorize, like numbers, chromosomes. We integrate, we make mnemonics, we make integration of mnemonics, right? So that's what the aim is. So that's the total duration that a lot of you wanted to know. We have PYQs. So the recent year PYQ, something that I would personally recommend. I have put in the app. So we have INI-CET of the last 5 exams from November 2025. That's the latest, till November 2023. We have 4 years of NEET, so 22, 23, 24, 25, 24 actually were 2 papers, so essentially that's 5 papers, and the last FMGE of July 2025, because a lot of times NB tends to pick questions from there. A special thing is ZV recommended. We have put a tag on PYQs, hashtag ZV recommended. So if you're short on time and you want to do questions which I feel you should solve before going into the exam, and stuff which I have not covered in detail in the video, something which is a good question that you should solve, you can just put that tag and practice just those PYQs. So that's something that I have done, is curated the PYQs as well. In addition, there's a curated QBank. When I say curated, it means I'm not trying to make it bulky. Consider it to be a BTR version of the entire QBank itself, right? That what are the must-do questions? See, when we talk about the core preparation that any intern or a post-intern would be doing for these entrances, one would be the main BTR content, PYQs, to get an idea of what kind of questions are being asked. PYQs are not something where you memorize the answer. It is where, what is it that you really need to know, right? So that is what the intent is. So once you've done these 2 steps, now the questions, the new questions that you're going to practice, first of all, not PYQs, new questions where every question has one specific learning objective, something which is either a new point which I may not have covered in the video, or something where I know students struggle with application of this particular topic. So these are very, very high concept, high yield MCQs. So the number is limited because I want you to do these again and again. Just like the video, the questions also, each question has very high value. So I want you to deep dive into it. And the best part, each question will have a video solution which I have made. So this is what I have tried to learn from the TNDs that we used to have. TNDs, students love that there is a video description, but sometimes I just want to know this one question, I have to scroll through the entire video. So instead of that, each question has its own video. So that makes it very easy. If you've understood it, no need to see it. You will have a text solution, you can just go through it. But if you don't, see the video, right? So that's what the intent is. So each and every MCQ of the QBank. And how many questions in the QBank? So very limited. Like the long subjects will have 200 odd questions, short subjects 100 questions, right? So these are 100 that you must master. So that's how the intent is. In one line, it's the BTR version of the QBank. Do these, this it's must do, right? So that's what I've done. So this becomes a learning system in itself. You do the video, you have PYQs, you have limited QBank that you master. And you know what's the best part? Everything is linked with a topic. topic. For example, I have divided each of the subjects into topics, and I'm going to show you the details of each of this. I'm very excited to do that. So each of the subjects will have a topic, and that topic has PYQs linked to it, the new questions linked to it. So the best way is see that part of the video, right? See all the questions, whether it's a PYQ or a new question, it's in there. So that way it's a holistic learning system, and it's not just one step after the other, right? So you have both of the ways that you can do a subject. Shorter subject, finish the complete video, do all the questions. PYQs followed by QBank. If it's a big subject, break it down into baby pieces, one topic at a time. Let's finish what has been asked PYQs, let's finish the new questions, So that's what the intent is. So each PYQ is tagged with a topic, each QBank is tagged with a topic, right? So that's what we have done, is broken down subjects into multiple topics. Yeah, I'll give you a schedule like always, which keeps you accountable, which keeps me accountable, and you have something that is planned for you tomorrow. That way we take it one day at a time. That way this journey, that end game doesn't seem so daunting, because I have one day at a time, right? So I'm going to give you a schedule, and that's how the tests will happen. And these tests will not have any questions from the PYQ or the existing QBank, and that way, the number of questions that you're practicing also keeps growing. So that's the intent. Every 15 days on CoreBTR you will have a GT. Again, fresh questions completely. It may have some PYQs, maybe PYTs, modified questions from the past, but very, very exam simulated, exam driven, we will have GTs every 15 days, so you can keep practicing that. And alongside there are some pearls. We have flashcards which are coming up for active recalls from BTR content itself. So these are pearls and flashcards which are not some random things. It's going to be tables of BTR which I know students struggle with, and that's how I'll help you remember them. So when you're free, you just open a pearl and you do an active recall, right? So that's what this entire process is. So I hope you like the idea, and I'll give you all the tiny nitty-gritties. So let's go through the subject. So we have the long subject, right? So here, Obs Gynae, 9 hours. I've given you the exact duration to this second so that you can plan accordingly, because that's how I am as a student. I need to know every single detail. So Obs Gynae, these are the number of, the number of hours, 9 hours ka videos with long subject. This is how I have divided the topics. So each and every PYQ and QBank, will be within it. So let's say I want to see Gynae. So I'm gonna, see the 9 topics. These are all the timestamps of the videos according to these topics. So I see 9, topics, and after that I'm practicing all of these questions. PYQs first, followed by QBank, both at the same time. So that way I keep mastering, I know my to be mastered questions are either the PYQs or the QBank that I have curated. So these two things, you keep doing simultaneously. Then you see the rest of the OBS video. So that way, in one day, I finish Gynae, one day I finish OBS, maybe 2 days each. So, that's how, multiple cycles of the same thing are possible. Surgery, again, very, very high yield, 9 hours, 27 minutes. PSM is relatively shorter, and the reason for that is TB, HIV, vector-borne, all the infectious diseases have moved on to micro, and that has become integrated infections now instead of microbiology alone. So you can see, I've also brought in pharma, bacteria ke baad, antimicrobials, TB, ATT, everything about TB program, everything about vector-borne, so that becomes very holistic, right? So pharma, PSM, everything about infections is here. So that's why 6 hours. Biochemistry, very high yield, 5 hours, 30 minutes. Pediatrics, relatively shorter, 4 hours. Anatomy, 6 hours. Anatomy, I've gone a little more detailed towards the concepts. Anat and concepts is like an oxymoron, but nonetheless, so anat and whatever, I've tried to use as many figures as possible to make it as good as possible, right? So that's anat. Short subjects, ENT, ophthalm are relatively bigger short subjects, so you can see that reflects in the duration. Then are QTs, so psych, psychiatry, anesthesia, dermat, all 2 to 3 hours, 4 to 5 questions, sometimes even lesser. So, this is all that you need to do. Ortho, FMT, radio, little more bulkier because more images, more concepts here, right? So that's how I have planned. Coming on to the system. So this is where we have physiopath, pharma, and medicine coming together so that the learning is very conceptual, very holistic rather than, studying it 4 different times. So CVS, the biggest of the lot, 4 hours, 24 minutes, neuro, quite high yield, hemat, very, very important. So all of these are the bigger systems. Then the baby systems, renal, endocrine, respi, you can see all are around 2.5 hours each. GI and rheumat even smaller, and then we have the general ones. Whatever topics have not been covered in the systems are here. General physio, pharma, path, and immuno all are around 1 to 2 hours. So this is what I've done. I've also brought about immuno, as a separate topic. So you can see the topics, of each plan accordingly. So that's what the aim is. So we are giving you a set of 5 books. I'll tell you the intent behind it. First of all, these are the cover pages. We have put a great detail and thought into each one, ourselves. So I've tried to put some good famous quotes that I love here. So we have 2 workbooks which are an exact replica of the slides that I used to teach, right? So I'll tell you how to use them. Here I've added a very nice quote, and this is one of my favorite, that at any point in time you have the power to say, this is not how my story will end. This is annotated. These are some, drawings which were done by our students in the past. So I've just tried to use them. So this is annotated. Now in annotated, I have 3 books. So integrated systems is a whole different book where I have tried to make the books a little different, more holistic, are not exact replica of the class slides, but on the same lines, but a little more exhaustive, so that, because that's a very conceptual part. So I've added, more theory in that. So that's what it is. We've had students who have worked on these annotations, right, and we've thoroughly verified them. We'll also give you one plain choti copy with it. It is supposed to be plain. Last time we had a few students asking that there's nothing written in the book. Nothing is meant to be written. You have to make it your own. Write down volatile points that you want to revise. So yeah, these are the 5 books. How I intend for you to use them. Before that, so this is how the workbooks look like. This is how the annotations look like. So they are very similar to the class, notes that I will annotate. So it's already been written. This is how the integrated book will look. A little different, but a little more exhaustive, So it's not exactly how I would have arranged this box in the slide, but it's little more expanded. So you have space to write as well. So these are some sample pages because I thought you would want to see them. So yeah, so how I intend for you to use these books, or if you are a digital note taker, how you want to use the PDFs would be, when you are watching the video, I would advise you to watch the video at least twice, okay? So when you are watching the video, I want you to keep the annotated books in front of you, right? First watch of the video, just listen. Try to build concepts without any pressure to write. Done? Watch this at 1.25x maximum. Don't go faster than that, all right? You will lose points. Don't go faster. I already talk at relatively higher pace, but 1.25x is good to go. Second read, you can go as high as 1.5x. So second video, as soon as the first one ends, second watch. Now keep your book open. Whatever it is that you feel is not annotated, but you would want to write for later, write in your annotated notes or your annotated book itself. Okay, that way you are saving time. You're not writing. But if you are old school and ma'am, I need to write everything, you can use the workbook to write everything. But my personal recommendation, the purpose of giving you annotated books is this, so that you don't waste time writing. Then ma'am, why are you giving us a workbook? Now I'll tell you. That's the game changer. Step 2. You have done 2 watches of the video. Now what you're going to do is you're going to sit with the unannotated workbook and try to speak it out. Try to teach it. Now imagine Uno reverse, that ma'am is sitting in front of me and I have to teach ma'am what she has taught me. So you have to speak out everything in this line, that okay ma'am, this is fatty acid synthase complex, citrus shuttle, this is what is carnitine shuttle, right? So everything you have to teach exactly how I have taught. So now what happens in the process. After this, you open annotated book of the same page and see what did you miss out. Oh, I missed out this step. This is the rate limiting step. I missed that out. So now you will always remember it. If you are passively just reading, you will never realize what you have not noticed, because when we are passively reading, I'm reading, my brain is somewhere else. And that is a mistake lots of students do. So active recall is the only treatment. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel it's taking 2 times longer, 5 times longer, but the yield is 2 times higher, 5 times higher. So it's worth it. This is what all of you have to do. This is called active recall, right? So this is why this entire thing that we have built, it's a system. It's not a video, right? It's everything. It's a method of learning that I'm trying to teach you. All right, so this is what you are doing for any one video. Followed by this, open up the MCQs of that topic, PYQs plus the QBank, and then you are done with that subject. According to the schedule that I'll give you, go on to the next subject, and then we will have a test, combined test of a few subjects. So that way you are accountable that by this date I need to do these 3-4 subjects and then appear for the test. So that's what we shall be doing. In between, whatever topic you felt, for example, let's say PCR, right? You felt like, okay, so many questions are coming from PCR, I need to go into a little depth. That's where you can open up a YouTube video on PCR, just search PCR, open ChatGPT, search PCR, go into the depths and finish it off. So use this system as a surveillance to know what are the topics which are very highly repeated. What is it that I need to work on, and then go into the depths. I know you are going to ask me, ma'am, is this enough? I have tried my best to make this enough for you to crack the entrance exam. Understand that medicine is not something where, I can tell you 100 hours you study and it's going to be enough. I have been doing this for the last 10 years. I gave my exam in 2015. Every day I learn something new. So apparently 10 years are not enough to finish it, right? But our time is limited. You don't have 10 years, right? So what you need to remember is, first master this. Make sure that whatever is here, whatever you are studying, you are giving 100%. That is something that I live by, right? While I was making all of this last 4 months, 5 months, 3 years, or 5 years that I've been into teaching, so many years, every time I break it down into one thing at a time. Right now I have to make this video, my 100% effort has to be here. That's what you have to promise me. You have a lot of expectations from me. I try my best to deliver. I have one expectation from you, that you do justice to what you are reading, whatever that source might be. Are you making sure that if a question comes from that, you will not get it wrong? That is what our aim has to be, right? Master one thing and then try to apply it in the form of questions. So that is what I had to tell you about how to use this app and orientation to this app and what it has to offer. So thank you so much. I'll keep telling you other details about the app, about the content. Thank you so much.